Meeting Keir Starmer, the UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues in government are quite critical of you.
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right?
The Secretary and I did meet President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and we
From rising crime rates to international snubs, Labour's list of failures keeps growing. But today, we're focusing on the biggest humiliation yet: Keir Starmer's exclusion from Trump's European visit. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Join us as we count down the top 5 reasons why Starmer is quickly becoming the most isolated figure in British politics. Number 5 will shock you. As Keir Starmer's political woes continue to mount, a new crisis threatens to unravel his leadership. The Chagos Islands deal. What started as an ambitious plan to position himself as a progressive leader on the world stage has quickly devolved into a high-stakes chess game with international implications. Starmer's grand vision involved handing over the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, a move intended to right historical wrongs and showcase Britain's commitment to global justice. The islands, home to a crucial US airbase on Diego Garcia, have been a point of contention since 1968, when Mauritius claims it was pressured into giving them up in exchange for independence. But Starmer's carefully laid plans soon hit unexpected turbulence. The newly elected Mauritian Prime Minister threw a wrench in the works by requesting more time to review the deal. This delay opened the door for opposition to grow, and grow it did. Enter Donald Trump and his team, who view the potential handover as nothing short of a national security nightmare. The US airbase on Diego Garcia isn't just any military installation. It's a linchpin of American strategy in the Indian Ocean.
The Secretary and I did meet President-elect Trump just a few weeks ago for dinner for about a couple of hours, and we
Who are you with? Who are you with?
GB News in the UK.
Okay, good.
But would you rather Nigel Farage would have had a bigger role?
Well, I think Nigel is great. I mean, I've known him for a long time. He had a great election, too. Picked up.
Trump's transition team, sensing the gravity of the situation, has gone as far as seeking legal advice from the Pentagon. The concerns aren't limited to military strategy. There's a growing fear that ceding control of the islands could create a power vacuum, one that China might be all too eager to fill. The specter of a Chinese rival base in the region has set off alarm bells in Washington and beyond. As if external pressures weren't enough, Starmer faces a firestorm of criticism at home. Critics are pulling no punches, with some even labeling the proposed agreement as high treason. The political backlash is swift and severe, leaving Starmer scrambling to defend a deal that seems to be slipping through his fingers. Foreign Secretary David Lammy insists that the handover is necessary, citing a ruling by the International Court of Justice. He claims the deal would guarantee the use of the airbase for the next 99 years. But these assurances are doing little to quell the growing storm of opposition. With each passing day, the Chagos Islands deal teeters closer to the brink of collapse. The geopolitical implications are severe. Failure could embolden adversaries, undermine the UK's strategic position, and deal a crushing blow to Starmer's credibility on the world stage. As this chess game unfolds, it's becoming clear that Starmer's troubles with Trump extend far beyond a single deal. The Chagos Islands crisis is just the tip of the iceberg in what's shaping up to be a deeply strained relationship between the two leaders. Starmer's attempts to charm Trump have backfired spectacularly. From a friendly New York dinner to a humiliating European slight, their relationship has taken a nosedive. But what's really behind Trump's apparent disdain for the Labour leader? The contrast between Starmer and Trump couldn't be more stark. One, a cerebral lawyer turned politician, The other, a brash businessman turned political firebrand. Yet Starmer has been trying desperately to build bridges. Remember that 2-hour dinner in New York during the UN summit? Trump reportedly called Starmer a friend. But in politics, today's friend can quickly become tomorrow's foe. Fast forward to Trump's recent European visit, and we see just how quickly things can change. Starmer was notably absent from the celebrations for the reopening of Notre Dame Cathedral in France. This wasn't just a casual oversight, it was a very public snub that left the Labour leader red-faced on the international stage. So why the cold shoulder from Trump? According to Niall Gardner, a former advisor to Margaret Thatcher, Starmer simply isn't taken seriously in Washington.
But I actually think he's very nice. I think he ran a great race. He did very well.
Voting Keir Starmer, the UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues in government are quite critical of you.
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right?
Discussed a number of issues of global significance. It was a very constructive exercise.
He's perceived as weak and woke, two traits that don't exactly endear one to the Trump camp. This perception has effectively locked Starmer out of high-profile events, leaving him scrambling for relevance on the global stage. The implications for UK-US relations are potentially severe. With Starmer's domestic standing already shaky, there's a real risk he might resort to criticizing Trump to appease his Labour base. It's a dangerous game that could further strain the already tenuous relationship between the two nations. But all may not be lost for Starmer. There's one card he hasn't played yet: the royal card. Historical precedents show that UK leaders have often used the royal family as a diplomatic tool with US presidents. And Trump, for all his bluster, has shown a particular affinity for the pomp and circumstance of British royalty. Could a well-timed royal engagement be the key to thawing the icy relationship between Starmer and Trump? It's a risky strategy, but one that Starmer might have to consider if he wants to salvage any hope of a productive relationship with the potential future US president. As Starmer grapples with these compounding challenges, one question looms large. Can he navigate the treacherous waters of international diplomacy while keeping his own political ship afloat? The answer may well determine the future of UK-US relations and Starmer's own political legacy. As Keir Starmer's political woes continue to mount, the Labour leader finds himself in an increasingly precarious position. The Chagos Islands debacle has exposed his vulnerability on the international stage, while his strained relationship with Donald Trump threatens to undermine UK-US relations. Starmer's perceived weakness in Washington and his inability to navigate complex diplomatic waters have left him isolated and struggling to maintain credibility. The long-term consequences of Starmer's missteps could be severe. A fractured relationship with the potential future US president could hamper cooperation on crucial issues like trade and security. Moreover, Starmer's domestic standing is at risk, with critics questioning his leadership capabilities and decision-making skills. As the pressure mounts, one has to wonder, can Starmer find a way to turn the tide and salvage his political future? Or will these compounding challenges prove to be the final nail in the coffin for his leadership aspirations? The coming months will be critical in determining whether Starmer can weather this storm or if he'll be swept away by the political currents he's set in motion.